From December 15th through January 23rd, 2026, Mars moves through Capricorn, the sign where Mars is exalted. This means the energy of action, drive, and desire is focused, strategic, and intentional. This isn't about grinding yourself into exhaustion. It's about moving with maturity. Mars in Capricorn asks you to stop leaking your energy through impulsive choices, emotional reactivity, or proving yourself to people who are never meant to validate you. Instead, this transit teaches you how to direct your power with clarity, build momentum through consistency, and take yourself and your goals seriously. In this video, we're going to explore where you're being asked to grow up, step into authority, and move like your future is already real. So grab your birth chart, find your rising sign, and let's dive in.
Aries rising. So Mars, your chart ruler, enters your 10th house of career, legacy, and public authority. And this is not a casual transit for you. This is one of the most consequential periods of the year because when Mars moves, you move. And when Mars climbs to the top of your chart, your soul is asking one question: are you living up to your potential or playing it safe inside an old version of yourself? Mars in Capricorn doesn't reward hustle for hustle's sake. It rewards mastery, strategy, maturity. And right now, you're being asked to evolve from the version of you that pushed, proved, and overextended into the version that leads with clarity, authority, and restraint. Now, this isn't about working harder. It's about working differently. Your ambition is sharpening. Your standards are rising. And the identity you've been operating from can't carry you where you're headed. This transit is an initiation into leadership, not the loud, reactive kind, but the grounded kind that commands respect without chasing it. The climb ahead requires discipline, but it also requires self-trust. The more you embody who you're becoming, the less you need external validation to confirm it. Mars in Capricorn is asking you to move like your future is already secured. During Mars transit through Capricorn, it's going to make a few aspects. The first is going to be on December 31st, where Mars is making a sextile to the North Node in Pisces. So this is your 12th house. With this energy, you are being supported to align your external ambition with your inner surrender. So you may feel an intuitive nudge to slow down and reimagine why you're chasing the goals you are. This is a soft spiritual reroute, reminding you that your legacy is also energetic. So let your inner world be the foundation your future builds on. Next is going to be on January 10th, Mars will make an opposition to Jupiter in Cancer in your 4th house. So here comes the emotional growth spurt. You may feel tension between your professional drive and your need for emotional security, rest, or support from family. Don't bulldoze through this one. This is a chance to redefine success on your own terms. Let your ambition be nurtured, not just pushed. You don't have to sacrifice softness to be strong. Next, on January 13th, Mars will make a square to Chiron in Aries. So this one cuts deep, but it also sets you free. Your identity wounds may flare up, such as Am I doing enough? Am I enough? So, old insecurities that are tied to visibility, leadership, or worthiness may rise. But Mars is here to help you initiate a healing that starts from the inside out. So, you don't have to be perfect to be powerful. This is a great time to ask yourself who you are without the armor of achievement. Next, on January 20th, Mars will make a trine to Uranus, currently in Taurus, in your second house. So, this is breakthrough energy. You may receive unexpected financial insight, a flash of clarity about your value, or an urge to radically change how you earn and stand in your worth. So, this is liberation through self trust. Don't cling to old money beliefs. Innovate, initiate, and honor your evolving value. Abundance flows when you stop asking for permission to be valuable. And finally, on January 21st, Mars will make a sextile to both Saturn and Neptune in Pisces in your 12th house. So you are learning to lead with spiritual maturity. This aspect supports grounded discipline in your healing, closure, or energetic cleanup. It's not just about grinding toward success. It's about integrating the invisible work. Mars is helping you to turn your unseen growth into a solid foundation for visible results. Some of the best ways for you to work with this Mars and Capricorn energy is first to take aligned strategic action toward your long-term goals. This isn't the time for impulsive moves or chasing quick wins. Mars and Capricorn rewards patience, structure, and intentional steps that compound over time. So move like the future version of you already exists. Next is to set boundaries around work that drains your spirit. Protect your energy like a CEO would. Not every opportunity deserves your effort, and not every demand requires a response. Sustainable success comes from discernment, not overextension. Next is to reinvent your relationship with success. You're being asked to define achievement in your own soul language, not through pressure, comparison, or external validation. Let ambition feel grounded, self-honoring, and emotionally aligned. Next is to create a vision or milestone tracker rooted in your why. So instead of obsessing over numbers or outcomes, anchor your goals in purpose. When your motivation is clear, discipline becomes devotion, and progress feels meaningful, not heavy. And finally, let your spiritual healing fuel your ambition. The inner work you've been doing isn't slowing you down, it's stabilizing you. So use your healing as the foundation for leadership rather than separating your success from your soul. A great affirmation for you during this Mars and Capricorn transit is I rise with purpose, I lead with integrity, and I honor my ambition without abandoning my soul. Be sure to let me know how the energy of this Mars in Capricorn is showing up for you in the comments below. And of course, give this video a thumbs up if it stirred something in you, share the magic, and subscribe to stay tapped in. And if you've been pretending you're fine while silently falling apart, my As Above, So Within prompt journal is your turning point. This journal helps you to face the real you, the one who's ready to rise. So be sure to tap the link below and start the shift. I appreciate you, and thanks so much for watching. Taurus rising. So Mars is moving through your ninth house of meaning, faith, truth, and long range vision. And this transit is less about speed and more about direction. You're no longer meant to wander through life guided by comfort alone. You're being asked to decide what you believe in enough to commit to. Mars in Capricorn turns your attention toward the future that you're building, not just materially, but spiritually. The way you see the world, the story you tell yourself about what's possible, the limits you've accepted without questioning. All of it is up for review. This is a season of serious expansion, not reckless leaps, but intentional growth that demands discipline, courage, and responsibility. You may feel restless, dissatisfied, or pulled toward something bigger than your current reality. That tension is purposeful. It's your inner compass recalibrating. You're being asked to move from passive hoping to active devotion, to your truth, your calling, and the life you're meant to live. Mars in the ninth wants you to back your beliefs with action, structure your dreams, and treat your future as something sacred. The more you commit to a vision that feels true, the more momentum finds you. Mars in Capricorn isn't asking you to abandon safety. It's asking you to aim higher than you ever have before. Now, during this transit through Capricorn, Mars will make a few aspects. The first coming on December 31st, where Mars will make a sextile to the North Node in Pisces in your 11th house. So your future is being shaped through community, your vision, and aligned people. This is a powerful green light to invest energy into long-term dreams that feel soul-led, especially those that are involving teaching, guiding, creating, or sharing wisdom. Trust that your growth is meant to be witnessed and supported. Next, on January 10th, Mars will make an opposition to Jupiter in Cancer in your third house. So, mental overload is possible here. Conversations, decisions, or information may feel emotionally charged or overwhelming. With this energy, you're learning to balance intuition with discernment. Not every opinion deserves your energy. Choose thoughts that nourish your growth. Next, on January 13th, Mars will make a square to Chiron in Aries, currently in your 12th house. So, old subconscious fears may surface, especially around trusting yourself, taking risk, or being seen in your truth. This is a powerful moment of spiritual confrontation. You're releasing self-sabotage patterns that operated behind the scenes. Courage now comes from compassion, not force. On January 20th, Mars will make a trine to Uranus, currently in Taurus. Of course, this is your first house. So, this is bringing breakthrough energy for your identity. So, you may feel a sudden surge of confidence, originality, or readiness to show up differently. This is liberation through embodiment. When you honor your uniqueness, momentum follows naturally. And finally, on January 21st, Mars will make a sextile to Saturn and Neptune in Pisces in your 11th house. So your dreams gain structure. This aspect is helping you to anchor inspiration into real world plans, especially through aligned networks or collective efforts. You're learning how to merge vision with responsibility without losing magic. When your dreams are grounded, they become inevitable. Now, some of the best ways for you to work with this Mars and Capricorn energy is first to commit to a bigger vision for your life. Mars in your ninth house asks you to move with intention, not habit. Choose goals that stretch your mind, your beliefs, and your sense of purpose. Next is to be selective with information and conversations. Mental clarity is power right now. Curate what you consume and who you listen to so your thoughts support expansion, not emotional spirals. Next is to face subconscious fears with gentleness. If doubt or resistance arises, don't judge it. Acknowledge it, then choose differently. Growth happens when you stop letting fear make decisions for you. Next is to embrace change in how you show up. You are allowed to evolve your identity. Let new confidence, style, voice, or leadership emerge without needing permission or explanation. And finally, build your dreams with the right people. Collaboration, community, and aligned support systems are essential now. Invest your energy where the future is being built, not where it's being drained. A great affirmation for you during this Mars and Capricorn transit is, I trust my path, I expand with intention, and I allow my future to unfold through aligned action. Be sure to let me know how the energy of this Mars and Capricorn is showing up for you in the comments below. And of course, give this video a thumbs up, pass it to your astrology besties, and subscribe for more cosmic truths. And if you know you're changing but can't explain it, my As Above, So Within journal helps you to make sense of your evolution. These prompts reconnect you to your truth and show you who you're becoming. So be sure to tap the link below and meet the new you. I appreciate you, and thanks so much for watching. Gemini rising. So Mars is moving through your eighth house of power, intimacy, money exchanges, emotional entanglements, and energetic contracts. And this is not a light or surface level transit for you. This is a season of truth, accountability, and reclaiming power where it has quietly leaked away. You're being asked to look beneath the narrative you tell others and even yourself and confront what's really driving your decisions, such as fear of loss, desire for control, scarcity thinking, or emotional attachment disguised as security. Mars in Capricorn doesn't tolerate avoidance. It wants maturity, clarity, and sovereignty. This is about ownership of your desires, your boundaries, your resources, and your shadow. You're stepping into a phase where surface confidence isn't enough. You're being asked to build strength from the inside out. This transit can feel intense, but it's also profoundly stabilizing. When you stop outsourcing power, financially, emotionally, or energetically, you become unshakable. Mars here is training you to move through life with depth, self-respect, and discernment. This is power that doesn't need to announce itself. It's power that knows. During this transit, Mars will make a few aspects. One of the first being on December 31st, where Mars will make a sextile to the North Node in Pisces, which is your 10th house. So your professional direction is being shaped by your willingness to take responsibility for your power. This is a supportive aspect for stepping into authority, leadership, or visibility, especially when you stop hiding behind adaptability and claim your expertise. Your public role evolves when you stop downplaying your influence. Next, on January 10th, Mars will make an opposition to Jupiter in Cancer, which is your second house. So, tension between shared resources and personal worth may surface. Financial decisions, emotional attachments, or value-based choices could feel amplified. This is a recalibration moment. Are you investing from security or fear? Expansion comes when self-worth leads, not attachment. You don't need to cling when you know your value. On January 13th, Mars will make a square to Chiron in Aries, which is your 11th house. So wounds around belonging, visibility in groups, or feeling supported by your community could come up. You may confront the pain of giving more than you receive. This is an initiation into healthier boundaries, learning that not everyone deserves access to your energy. Now, on January 20th, Mars will make a trine to Uranus in Taurus in your 12th house. So, this is a powerful internal breakthrough. This is sudden emotional release, subconscious clarity, or intuitive insight that can help you to sever old energetic ties. This is liberation from behind the scenes patterns that once controlled you without your awareness. And finally, on January 21st, Mars will make a sextile to Saturn and Neptune in Pisces in your 10th house. So your ambition gains spiritual grounding with this aspect. You're supported in aligning your career path with deeper purpose, blending discipline with intuition. So this aspect helps you to build something meaningful, not just impressive. Now, some of the best ways for you to work with the energy of Mars in Capricorn is first to reclaim your power in financial and emotional exchanges. Pay attention to where you overgive, overinvest, or merge without clarity. Sovereignty restores strength. Next is to face control patterns honestly. Power struggles reveal where fear still lives. Choose responsibility over reaction. Next is to let self-worth lead your decisions, especially around money, intimacy, and commitments. Expansion comes from grounded confidence, not emotional leverage. Next is to release what drains you behind the scenes. Old attachments, subconscious habits, or energetic cords are ready to dissolve. Make space for renewal. And finally, align ambition with integrity. The more your goals reflect who you truly are, the more sustainable your success becomes. A great affirmation for you during this Mars and Capricorn transit is, I honor my power. I choose integrity over fear, and I move through life grounded in self-trust. Be sure to let me know how the energy of Mars and Capricorn is showing up for you in the comments below. And if you love what you heard, be sure to like it, share it, and subscribe so the algorithm and the universe keeps delivering. And if you've been avoiding the parts of yourself that feel too messy, too heavy, or too complicated, my As Above, So Within prompt journal takes you right into the shadow with compassion and clarity. These prompts help you to confront what you've been suppressing so you can finally rise above it. So be sure to tap the link below and begin the real work. I appreciate you, and thanks so much for watching. Cancer rising. So Mars moves through your seventh house of relationships, commitments, contracts, and mirrors. And this is a defining season for how you relate, not just to others, but to yourself through others. This transit brings clarity, confrontation, and recalibration. What's been unspoken can no longer stay that way. Now, for you, Mars in Capricorn isn't about conflict for conflict's sake. It's about maturity in connection. You're being asked to look honestly at how you negotiate power, responsibility, and emotional labor in your relationships. Where have you been overgiving? Where have you avoided asserting your needs to keep the peace? Where have dynamics become unbalanced? This is a turning point where relationships either evolve into something more grounded and mutual or reveal where alignment is no longer present. Mars here teaches you that commitment without integrity isn't security, and that true partnership requires backbone, not self-sacrifice. You're learning how to stand strong with others, not disappear inside them. Now, during this transit through Capricorn, Mars will make a few aspects. One of them being on December 31st, Mars will make a sextile to the North Node in Pisces in your ninth house. So your relationships are being guided toward greater meaning and alignment with your life path. So conversations around shared beliefs, future direction, or long-term vision may arise. This is an invitation to choose partnerships that support your growth, not limit it. On January 10th, Mars will make an opposition to Jupiter in Cancer. So, of course, this is your first house. This is a big emotional moment. You may feel torn between asserting yourself and accommodating others. The key here is balance. This is confidence without defensiveness. Growth comes when you stop shrinking to maintain harmony. You don't have to abandon yourself to be loved. On January 13th, Mars will make a square to Chiron in Aries, which is your 10th house. So wounds around visibility, authority, or public perception may surface, especially if your relationships have impacted your confidence or your direction. This is about reclaiming leadership over your life, even when others don't fully understand your choices. You are allowed to be seen on your own terms. On January 20th, Mars will make a trine to Uranus in Taurus in your 11th house. So this brings breakthroughs through community. Support from friends, collaborators, or aligned networks can shift relationship dynamics in empowering ways. So, new connections may remind you that partnership doesn't have to feel heavy. The right people will expand your world. And finally, on January 21st, Mars will make a sextile to both Saturn and Neptune in Pisces in your ninth house. So you are integrating emotional wisdom with spiritual maturity. This aspect supports long term commitments rooted in shared values, faith, and vision. Relationships grounded in purpose become stabilizing rather than draining. Now, some of the best ways for you to work with this Mars and Capricorn energy is first to set clearer boundaries in relationships. Mutual respect grows when expectations are defined and emotional labor is shared, not assumed. Next is to speak your needs without apology. Mars here supports honest conversations that lead to healthier dynamics, not conflict for its own sake. Next is to choose alignment over familiarity. Growth may require redefining what partnership looks like, especially if old patterns no longer fit. Next is to allow support from community. Friends, allies, and collaborators can help you to see new relationship possibilities beyond old scripts. And finally, anchor commitment in shared values. Long-term stability comes from vision, belief, and emotional integrity, not obligation. A great affirmation for you for this Mars and Capricorn transit is: I honor my needs, I meet others as an equal, and I allow relationships to support my growth. Be sure to let me know how the energy of Mars and Capricorn is showing up for you in the comments below. And of course, give this video a thumbs up, pass it to your astrology besties, and subscribe for more cosmic truths. And if you feel like you've been losing pieces of yourself, my As Above, So Within journal helps you to gather them back. These prompts walk you through the shadows you've been carrying so you can finally understand what they've been trying to teach you. So be sure to tap the link below to reclaim your story. I appreciate you, and thanks so much for watching. Leo rising. So Mars moves through your sixth house of routines, work habits, health, boundaries, and energetic upkeep. And this transit is asking you to get radically honest about how you're sustaining yourself or slowly draining yourself. Now, this isn't just about productivity. It's about integrity in how you live your life day to day. Mars in Capricorn exposes where you've been pushing through exhaustion, tolerating misalignment, or confusing busyness with purpose. You may feel pressure to get it together, but what's really being initiated is a reset of your operating system, mentally, physically, emotionally, and energetically. For you, this transit is deeply humbling in the best way. You're learning that power isn't just charisma or vision, it's follow through, self respect, and consistency. The more you honor your limits, the stronger you become. This is about becoming someone you can rely on, not just someone others admire. Now, during this transit, Mars will make a few aspects. One of the first of them being on December 31st, Mars will make a sextile to the North Node in Pisces, which is your 8th house. So this activation opens a powerful window for deep energetic release and reclamation. You may become aware of emotional patterns, attachments, or obligations that have deeply drained your vitality over time, especially in close relationships, financial entanglements, or shared responsibilities. This isn't about blame, it's about choice. You're being guided to consciously disengage from dynamics that cost you more than they give. Healing work done now, emotional, somatic, financial, or spiritual, has a direct and lasting impact on your stamina and focus moving forward. Next, on January 10th, Mars will make an opposition to Jupiter in Cancer in your 12th house. So, this is a classic overextension trigger. You may feel pulled to keep going, keep producing, or keep being strong, even as your inner world asks for rest, solitude, or emotional processing. Suppressed feelings may surface through exhaustion, irritability, or overwhelm if they are ignored. The invitation here is to honor your inner rhythms. Growth doesn't always look like progress. Sometimes it looks like retreat, restoration, and emotional honesty. The more space you give yourself to feel, the more resilient you become. Next, on January 13th, Mars will make a square to Chiron in Aries in your 9th house. So, this activation can stir wounds around confidence in your direction, belief system, or sense of purpose. You may question whether the path you're committing to is truly yours, or whether you're forcing momentum without meaning. This square asks you to reconnect your daily effort to a deeper why. Discipline without belief turns into resentment. When your routines align with your truth, motivation returns organically. On January 20th, Mars will make a trine to Uranus in Taurus in your 10th house. So here comes a breakthrough, but not necessarily through force. Sudden insight around how you structure your work, manage responsibilities, or define success can unlock massive relief. You may realize there's a smarter, simpler, or more authentic way to show up publicly without exhausting yourself. This is permission to innovate your relationship with authority, including your own. So small adjustments now can lead to long-term freedom. And finally, on January 21st, Mars will make a sextile to both Saturn and Neptune in Pisces in your 8th house. So this is a powerful integration moment. You are supported in turning emotional insight into sustainable transformation. Healing doesn't stay theoretical here. It becomes embodied through habits, boundaries, and commitments that honor your emotional depth. This aspect helps you to move beyond coping and into regeneration. You are learning how to stabilize yourself without hardening, to be strong and sensitive. Now, some of the best ways for you to work with this energy is first to audit your daily routines with brutal honesty. Mars in the 6th house wants you to look at how your days actually function, not how you wish they did. What habits actually energize you? What quietly drains you? This is a season to eliminate what no longer supports your body, focus, or self-respect. Next is to build discipline that feels supportive, not punishing. Capricorn energy thrives on structure. but only when it's intentional. Create systems that help you to show up consistently without burning out. Discipline rooted in care becomes empowerment. Next is to take your health seriously, physically and energetically. This transit is asking you to treat your body like a sacred instrument, not a machine. Prioritize rest, nourishment, movement, and emotional regulation. When your energy stabilizes, everything else improves. Next is to redefine productivity. You're learning that output doesn't equal worth. Focus on efficiency, alignment, and sustainability rather than doing more just to feel valuable. And finally, commit to becoming someone you can trust. Show up for yourself in small, consistent ways. Confidence grows when you follow through, especially on the promises you make privately. A great affirmation for you during this Mars and Capricorn transit is, I honor my energy, I move with integrity, and I build a life that supports my strength. Be sure to let me know how the energy of Mars and Capricorn is showing up for you in the comments below. And if you loved this, be sure to hit like, spread the magic, and subscribe so you never miss a planetary truth bomb. And if you've been feeling triggered, emotional, or out of control, you're not spiraling. You're awakening. My As Above, So Within journal guides you into the shadows you've outgrown and the power you've been too afraid to claim. So be sure to tap the link below and step into your next level. Virgo rising. So Mars moves through your fifth house of creativity, confidence, romance, self expression, pleasure, and the inner child. And this is one of the most underrated power transits you can get because it's not just about having fun, it's about claiming what makes you feel alive without guilt, without overthinking, and without waiting for permission. Mars in Capricorn doesn't play with shallow desire. It wants devotion. It wants you to build something real out of what you love, whether that's a creative project, a passion, a business idea, a relationship, or a version of you that's ready to be seen. This is a major shift where you are learning that joy isn't something you earn after you've handled every responsibility. Joy is fuel. Joy is medicine. Joy is a stabilizing force that makes the rest of your life work better. This transit is here to mature your pleasure, to refine your confidence, and to turn your creative spark into something structured, lasting, and undeniable. Now, during this transit, Mars will make a few aspects. One of them being a sextile to the North Node currently in Pisces in your seventh house. So, your desires and your relationships are being brought into alignment. This transit highlights partnerships as part of your path forward, not as distractions, but as mirrors that reveal what you're truly ready for. So you may feel called to pursue love, collaborations, or a creative alliance with more intention. This is also about choosing connections that support your self expression, not ones that require you to shrink, perform, or overgive. Next, on January 10th, Mars will make an opposition to Jupiter in Cancer in your 11th house. So, this can bring big energy around your social life, community, and future plans. but it may also create emotional overwhelm around who you're doing life with and whether you feel supported in your dreams. So you may be tempted to say yes to everything or stretch yourself thin trying to stay connected. The lesson is that not every invitation is aligned. Growth comes when you prioritize the spaces where your creativity is celebrated, not just consumed. Next is on January 13th, Mars will make a square to Chiron and Aries in your 8th house. So, this is a deeper initiation. Vulnerability wounds can surface. Fear of being too much, fear of being seen, fear of being rejected once you fully express what you want. So, you may notice patterns around intimacy, power, or emotional exposure that block you from receiving love or support. This square isn't here to punish you, it's here to free you because your joy wants to be embodied, not protected behind control. Next, on January 20th, Mars will make a trine to Uranus in Taurus in the 9th house. So, a breakthrough moment for confidence and creative courage comes with this aspect. So, you may feel inspired to take a risk, such as sharing your work, starting the thing, publishing the idea, traveling, teaching, or expanding into a bigger version of your voice. This energy is liberating. It reminds you that you are not here to play small with your gifts. So if you've been stuck in perfectionism, this transit helps you to take the leap. Finally, on January 21st, Mars makes a sextile to both Saturn and Neptune in Pisces in your 7th house. This energy supports grounded commitment, clearer boundaries, and more emotionally aligned partnerships. It can also stabilize creative collaborations and help you to turn inspiration into something structured with another person. You are learning that love and creativity can be both magical and consistent, not chaotic, not confusing, and not one-sided. Some of the best ways for you to work with this Mars and Capricorn energy is first to take your creativity seriously without turning it into pressure. Mars in Capricorn wants consistency and results, but your 5th house needs play. Commit to your craft or passion in a way that feels nourishing, not punishing. Structure is meant to support your joy, not suffocate it. Next is to let pleasure become part of your self-trust. Notice where you deny yourself rest, fun, romance, or beauty because it feels unproductive. This transit is teaching you that joy is not a reward, it's a resource. The more you allow yourself to enjoy life, the more confident and magnetic you become. Next is to choose relationships that honor your self-expression, whether it's dating, partnership, or collaboration. Lean toward connections that celebrate your creativity and make you feel safe to be seen. Your path forward is tied to who you build with. Next is to watch your yeses with community and social energy. You're not meant to spread yourself thin trying to belong everywhere. Prioritize the spaces where your dreams are nurtured, where your gifts are valued, and where your future feels supported. And finally, heal the fear of being fully wanted and fully seen. If intimacy triggers control, withdrawal, or self-protection. This is the moment to work with it gently. You are allowed to desire deeply. You are allowed to receive deeply. You are allowed to create loudly. A great affirmation for you during this Mars and Capricorn transit is, I honor my joy. I commit to what I love, and I allow myself to be fully seen and supported. Be sure to let me know how the energy of Mars and Capricorn is showing up for you in the comments below. And of course, be sure to hit like, send this to your besties, and subscribe so you never miss your cosmic upgrade. And if you've been feeling numb, detached, or disconnected, this journal is where you reconnect with the emotions you buried to survive. As above, so within helps you to face what you've been avoiding and turn your pain into direction. So be sure to tap the link below to start your return to self. I appreciate you, and thanks so much for watching. Libra rising. So Mars moves through your fourth house of home, emotional security, family patterns, roots, and inner stability. And this transit cuts deeper than it looks on the surface. This is about the invisible architecture of your life, what you rest on, return to, and rely on when no one is watching. This transit is asking you to confront where you've been prioritizing harmony over truth. So you may feel pressure around family dynamics, living situations, emotional boundaries, or the tension between public expectations and private needs. This isn't about creating conflict. It's about ending emotional avoidance. You are being asked to build safety from the inside out, to take responsibility for your emotional world instead of outsourcing stability to relationships, work, or approval. The stronger your inner foundation becomes, the less you need external balance to feel okay. This is an initiation into emotional adulthood, where peace comes from alignment, not appeasement. Now, during this transit, Mars will make a few aspects. The first one starts on December 31st, where Mars will make a sextile to the North Node in Pisces, which is your sixth house. So your daily routines and emotional foundation are being recalibrated together. So small changes in how you structure your day, such as sleep, work rhythm, self-care, can all have a profound impact on your sense of security. Healing shows up through consistency, not intensity. Next, on January 10th, Mars will make an opposition to Jupiter in Cancer in your 10th house. So, tension may arise between your private needs and your public responsibilities. You may feel stretched between career demands and emotional or family obligations. This activation asks you to redefine success, not just as achievement, but as a life that actually feels supportive. You don't have to sacrifice your inner life to succeed. Now, on January 13th, Mars will make a square to Chiron in Aries, currently in your seventh house. So, relationship wounds can surface here, especially around feeling unsupported, unseen, or having to be the strong one. You may confront patterns of self erasure in partnership. This square is inviting you to assert your needs without guilt. On January 20th, Mars will make a trine to Uranus and Taurus in your eighth house. So, Breakthroughs around emotional intimacy and shared resources are possible. You may experience a sudden release from an old emotional bond, financial entanglement, or fear of dependence. This is liberation through honesty. And finally, on January 21st, Mars will make a sextile to both Saturn and Neptune in Pisces. So you are learning how to ground emotional healing into your daily life. This aspect is supporting practical systems that nurture your mental and emotional health. Healing becomes sustainable when it's woven into routine. Now, some of the best ways for you to work with this Mars and Capricorn energy is first to tend to your emotional foundation with intention. Mars in your fourth house is asking you to take your inner world seriously. Notice what makes you feel safe, what unsettles you, and what you've been tolerating out of habit. True stability starts with emotional honesty. Next is to create routines that support your nervous system. Your sense of grounding improves when your daily life feels predictable and nourishing. Prioritize rest, nourishment, and boundaries around work that invades your private space. Next is to redefine success to include emotional well-being. You are learning that ambition without emotional support leads to burnout. Let your goals be in service of a life that actually feels like home. Next is to practice direct communication in relationships. Avoiding discomfort creates deeper imbalance. Expressing your needs clearly, even when it feels awkward, restores trust and mutual respect. And finally, release old emotional contracts. Whether tied to family, partnership, or shared responsibilities, you are allowed to renegotiate what you carry. You don't need to hold everything together alone. A great affirmation for you during this Mars and Capricorn transit is, I build safety within myself. I honor my emotional truth, and I create a life that feels like home. Be sure to let me know how the energy of Mars and Capricorn is showing up for you in the comments below. And of course, your 3-second ritual: hit like, share, and subscribe to keep this energy coming your way. And if you've been piecing it all together on your own, this is your sign to stop guessing. Let's go deep into your chart and get you the answers you've been looking for. The link to grab a spot on my calendar is below, so be sure to check it out. I appreciate you, and thanks so much for watching. Scorpio rising. So Mars is moving through your third house of communication, mindset, learning, boundaries and conversation, and daily mental patterns. And this transit is about mental discipline and energetic truth. What you say, how you say it, and the stories you repeat internally are becoming impossible to ignore. Mars in Capricorn is asking you to use your power responsibly. You're being challenged to confront where your thinking has been shaped by fear, defensiveness, or old survival strategies, and where silence has been mistaken for control. This is a season of mental maturity. You're learning to speak with authority without weaponizing truth, to set boundaries without manipulation, to choose clarity over emotional testing. Your voice is becoming cleaner. Your thoughts are becoming more intentional, and your decisions are becoming more self-led. Now, while Mars is in Capricorn, it will make a few aspects. One of the first being on December 31st, where Mars will make a sextile to the North Node in Pisces, currently in your fifth house. So your voice wants to reconnect with joy, creativity, and authentic self expression. This activation supports writing, speaking, teaching, or sharing from the heart. You're being encouraged to let your message be inspired, playful, and emotionally alive again. Truth lands deeper when it's spoken with heart. Now, on January 10th, Mars will make an opposition to Jupiter in Cancer in your ninth house. Belief clashes may arise, internally or with others. Conversations around truth, morality, spirituality, or direction can feel emotionally charged. This is an invitation to listen as much as you speak. Expansion comes when you allow your perspective to evolve. On January 13th, Mars will make a square to Chiron in Aries in your sixth house. So wounds around productivity, self-criticism, or feeling never good enough may surface. Your inner dialogue becomes a focal point. This square is asking you to notice how harsh self-talk affects your body, energy, and motivation. Discipline without compassion becomes self-sabotage. On January 20th, Mars will make a trine to Uranus in Taurus in your seventh house. So, breakthrough conversations in relationships are possible. Honest dialogue can liberate stuck dynamics or reveal new ways of relating. So, you may attract people who challenge your thinking. And in doing so, you free yourself from outdated mental loops. And finally, on January 21st, Mars will make a sextile to both Saturn and Neptune in Pisces. So your creativity and voice gain emotional depth and structure. This aspect is supporting disciplined creative output, especially if you've been wanting to share something meaningful. Expression becomes healing when it's rooted in truth and consistency. Now, some of the best ways for you to work with this Mars and Capricorn energy is first to become conscious of your inner dialogue. Mars in your third house wants you to take responsibility for the thoughts you repeat. Notice where your mind defaults to suspicion, self-criticism, or control, and intentionally choose clarity instead. Next is to communicate with precision, not intensity. You don't need to say everything you feel. You need to say what's true cleanly. So, this is a powerful time to refine how you speak so your words carry authority without emotional excess. Next is to set boundaries through language. Clear communication is your strongest protection right now. Say what you mean. Ask for what you need. Stop hinting, testing, or withholding as a way to stay safe. Next is to use creativity as a release valve. Writing, speaking, teaching, or creative expression helps move mental energy through your system. Let your voice flow somewhere constructive instead of looping internally. And finally, let conversations evolve your beliefs. Stay open to learning. Growth comes from curiosity, not rigidity. The more flexible your thinking becomes, the freer you feel. A great affirmation for you during this Mars and Capricorn transit is: I speak with clarity, I think with intention, and I honor the power of my voice. Be sure to let me know how the energy of Mars and Capricorn is showing up for you in the comments below. And if this lit a fire in you, show it some love with a like, share it with your friends, and hit subscribe so you don't miss what's next. And if you're tired of guessing who you are and ready to actually know, my As Above, So Within journal hands you the questions your soul's been trying to ask. So be sure to tap the link below and grab it to meet the real you. I appreciate you, and thanks so much for watching. Sagittarius rising. So Mars is moving through your second house of income, self-worth, values, security, and survival instincts. And this transit brings your attention to the most fundamental question of all. What do you truly believe you deserve? And are your actions aligned with that belief? For Sagittarius rising, freedom has always been the priority, but Mars in Capricorn demands stability, ownership, and follow through. You're being asked to take your resources, financial, emotional, or energetic, seriously, not casually. Where have you relied on optimism instead of structure? This is a season of grounded confidence. You're learning that real freedom isn't avoiding responsibility. It's building a life that can actually support you. Mars here wants you to invest in yourself, protect your energy, and stop giving your power away through undercharging, overgiving, or self-doubt. Now, during this transit through Capricorn, Mars will make a few aspects. One of the first being on December 31st, Mars will make a sextile to the North Node currently in Pisces in your fourth house. Your sense of worth is deeply tied to emotional safety right now. This activation supports healing around family patterns, ancestral beliefs about money, or early conditioning around security. You're being guided to build value from the inside out, not from external validation. When you feel safe within yourself, abundance stabilizes. On January 10th, Mars will make an opposition to Jupiter in Cancer, currently in your eighth house. So, tension may arise around shared resources, emotional dependency, or financial entanglements. You may feel torn between relying on others and asserting independence. This is a powerful recalibration moment. Expansion comes when you stand in your own value without needing rescue or control. On January 13th, Mars will make a square to Chiron in Aries in your fifth house. So, wounds around confidence, creative visibility, or feeling chosen may surface. You might question whether your talents are worthy of investment or recognition. This square invites you to heal the part of you that ties self-worth to performance or approval. On January 20th, Mars will make a trine to Uranus in Taurus in the sixth house. So, breakthroughs in work, income streams, or daily productivity are possible. A new routine, system, or approach to how you work can unlock financial momentum. This is innovation grounded in practicality. Smart changes can free up energy and time. Finally, on January 21st, Mars will make a sextile to both Saturn and Neptune in Pisces in your fourth house. So you are supported in creating emotional and material stability simultaneously. So this aspect helps you to blend discipline with compassion, especially around home, finances, and long term security. You're learning how to build something that feels both safe and soulful. Some of the best ways for you to work with this Mars and Capricorn energy is first to treat your worth like something that requires stewardship. Mars in your second house asks you to manage your money, energy, and time with intention. This is about making choices that reflect self respect, not urgency or fear. Next is to set clearer boundaries around giving and spending. Notice where generosity turns into depletion. You are allowed to say no, charge more, rest longer, and protect your resources without guilt. Next is to heal old narratives around money and safety. Family conditioning or past instability may still shape your choices. This is the moment to rewrite those stories and choose a new foundation. Next is to invest in what actually supports you, whether it's tools, systems, education, or self care. Spend and commit in ways that stabilize your future rather than distract you. And finally, let confidence come from consistency. Trust yourself by following through. Small, reliable actions rebuild self worth faster than big leaps ever could. A great affirmation for you during this Mars and Capricorn transit is I honor my worth. I invest in myself wisely, and I build a life that truly supports me. Be sure to let me know how the energy of Mars and Capricorn is showing up for you in the comments below. And of course, love on this video with a like, spread the magic to your friends, and subscribe so the universe keeps sending you these vibes. And if you're craving a breakthrough but feel stuck in the same emotional loop, your birth chart has the answers. My As Above, So Within prompt journal gives you the questions that pull your truth to the surface. So be sure to tap the link below and check. Capricorn rising. So, of course, Mars is moving through your first house of identity, body, willpower, confidence, and direction. And this is your season of activation. This is not a subtle transit for you, it's embodied and unmistakable. You are being reintroduced to your own strength. Mars is exalted in Capricorn, which means this energy works cleanly and effectively for you. But it also removes excuses. You can no longer hide behind waiting, preparing, or holding back until things feel perfect. This is about presence, authority, deciding who you are now, not someday. You may feel more assertive, driven, and focused than usual, but also more aware of where you've suppressed anger, desire, or instinct in order to remain composed or controlled. Mars here asks you to reclaim those parts without letting them run you. This is a personal reset, not reinvention for approval, but embodiment for truth. When you move from self respect instead of self protection, your entire life responds. While Mars moves through Capricorn, it's going to make a few aspects. One of the first being on December 31st, Mars will make a sextile to the North Node currently in Pisces in your third house. So your voice, mindset, and decision making are aligning with your life path. This activation supports speaking up, initiating conversations, sharing ideas, or setting boundaries through clear communication. The way you think and talk about yourself is shaping who you're becoming. Next, on January 10th, Mars will make an opposition to Jupiter, currently in Cancer, in your seventh house. So, relationship dynamics may intensify. You may feel pulled between asserting yourself and accommodating others, especially partners or close allies. This is about balance, not dominance. Expansion comes when you stop shrinking yourself to keep others comfortable. On January 13th, Mars will make a square to Chiron in Aries, currently in your fourth house. So, old wounds tied to family, emotional safety, or belonging may surface, especially if early conditioning taught you to grow up fast or stay strong. This activation asks you to lead yourself with compassion, not hardness. Strength without tenderness becomes isolation. You are allowed to be powerful and soft at the same time. On January 20th, Mars will make a trine to Uranus, currently in Taurus, in your fifth house. So a surge of creative confidence and self-expression arrives. You may feel inspired to take a risk, either romantically, creatively, or personally. This is a reminder that leadership isn't just responsibility. It's also joy, play, and authenticity. Confidence grows when you let yourself enjoy being alive. Finally, on January 21st, Mars will make a sextile to both Saturn and Neptune in Pisces. This aspect helps you integrate discipline with intuition. Your thinking becomes clearer, more compassionate, and more spiritually aligned. It's a powerful moment to set intentions, refine your plans, and commit to a narrative that supports who you're becoming. Now, some of the best ways for you to work with this Mars and Capricorn energy is first to claim space in your own life. Mars in your first house wants you to stop waiting for permission. Initiate, decide, and act from self-trust rather than hesitation. Your presence alone is influential right now. Next is to lead with embodied confidence, not control. Notice the difference between grounded authority and rigid defensiveness. True strength doesn't need to prove itself. It simply shows up consistently. Next is to honor your body as part of your power. Physical movement, posture, rest, and care matter more than usual. Your body is the channel through which this energy expresses. So be sure you're listening to it. Next is to speak yourself into alignment. What you say about yourself matters. Clean up self-talk, narratives, and assumptions that keep you small or guarded. And finally, allow joy and creativity to soften your edge. You don't need to carry everything alone. Pleasure, laughter, and play restore balance and make your leadership magnetic. A great affirmation for you during this Mars and Capricorn transit is, I stand in my power with clarity and compassion, and I move through life anchored in self-trust. Be sure to let me know how the energy of Mars in Capricorn is showing up for you in the comments below. And of course, if this lit you up, hit like, share it with your friends, and subscribe for your next download. And if you've been carrying emotions you can't name, as above, so within is where you finally give them language. This prompt journal guides you through your chart so you can understand what's shifting and what you're meant to release. So be sure to tap the link below and start your healing. I appreciate you, and thanks so much for watching. Aquarius rising. So Mars moves through your 12th house of the subconscious, endings, healing, solitude, karmic cycles, and energetic residue. And this is one of the most quietly powerful transits of the year for you. Nothing about this season is accidental, even if it feels subtle on the surface. This is a period of internal recalibration. Old motivations, unconscious patterns, and hidden fears are surfacing, not to overwhelm you, but to be released. Mars in Capricorn doesn't rush this process. It asks for discipline in rest, intention in solitude, and honesty about what you're still carrying that no longer belongs in your next chapter. This transit can feel like pulling back from the world just enough to hear yourself again. You're learning that clarity doesn't always come from action. Sometimes it comes from completion, closure, and choosing peace over productivity. This is the work that happens before momentum returns. And when it does, you'll move cleaner, lighter, and more aligned. Now, during this transit, Mars will make a few aspects. One of the first being on December 31st, Mars will make a sextile to the North Node, currently in Pisces, in your second house. So your sense of worth is being healed at a deep subconscious level. Old survival patterns around money, security, or self-trust soften with this energy. This is an opportunity to redefine value, not through effort alone, but through self-compassion and energetic alignment. Next, on January 10th, Mars will make an opposition to Jupiter in Cancer in your sixth house. So you may feel torn between pushing forward and needing rest. Work, obligations, or health routines could feel emotionally heavy if you ignore your inner limits. This activation asks you to stop overfunctioning and start listening to what your body and nervous system actually needs. On January 13th, Mars will make a square to Chiron, currently in Aries, in your third house. So wounds around voice, self-expression, or feeling misunderstood could surface, especially if you've been keeping things to yourself. This square invites you to soften your inner dialogue and stop mentally isolating. You don't have to carry everything alone. Silence doesn't equal strength. On January 20th, Mars will make a trine to Uranus, currently in Taurus, in your fourth house. So a breakthrough around emotional safety and inner grounding is possible. You may feel a sudden sense of release tied to family patterns, living situations, or your relationship with rest and home. This is freedom through emotional honesty. And finally, on January 21st, Mars will make a sextile to both Saturn and Neptune in Pisces, currently in your second house. So you are integrating spiritual insight with practical self-worth. This aspect supports building stability from a place of trust rather than fear. You're learning how to support yourself emotionally and materially without self-sacrifice. Now, some of the best ways for you to work with this Mars and Capricorn transit is first to create space for intentional solitude. Mars in your 12th house asks you to slow down without guilt. Time alone isn't avoidance, it's preparation. Let yourself process, rest, and release without needing immediate answers. Next is to clear energetic clutter. This is a powerful time for you to release habits, thought patterns, or emotional attachments that quietly drain you. Pay attention to what exhausts you behind the scenes. Next is to prioritize nervous system care. Sleep, hydration, emotional regulation, and spiritual practices are essential now. You are not meant to push through this transit. You're meant to soften into it. Next is to be mindful of inner dialogue. Notice how you speak to yourself when no one else is listening. Replace self-criticism with grounded compassion. Your inner world is becoming the foundation for what's next. And finally, trust the pause. Even if it feels like nothing is happening externally, deep work is underway. When Mars eventually moves forward, you'll act with clarity instead of confusion. A great affirmation for you during this Mars and Capricorn transit is, I release what no longer serves me. I honor my inner world and I trust the timing of my becoming. Be sure to let me know how the energy of Mars and Capricorn is showing up for you in the comments below. And of course, tap that like button, share the vibes with your friends, and subscribe so the stars always find you. And if you've been carrying emotions you can't name, as above, so within is where you finally give them language. This prompt journal guides you through your chart so you can understand what's shifting and what you're meant to release. So be sure to tap the link below and start your healing process. I appreciate you, and thanks so much for watching. Pisces rising. So Mars is moving through your 11th house of long-term goals, community, audience, collaboration, and the future you are actively creating. And this transit is asking you to get serious about where your energy is going and who is walking beside you as you move forward. This is a pivotal moment of self-definition within the collective. You're learning that being compassionate, open-hearted, and adaptable doesn't mean being endlessly available. Mars in Capricorn demands discernment. It asks you to choose alignment over obligation and intention over emotional loyalty. You're stepping into a chapter where your dreams are no longer abstract or idealistic. They are becoming executable. The future you've been sensing is ready to take form, but only if you're willing to lead yourself. Prioritize your vision and stop dissolving your energy into spaces that can't hold it. This is about belonging without self-erasure, purpose without martyrdom, and building something that actually lasts. Now, as Mars moves through Capricorn, it's going to make a few major aspects. One of the first being on December 31st, Mars will make a sextile to the North Node in Pisces. So this is a powerful moment of personal alignment. Your identity, direction, and sense of self are syncing with your future path. You may feel a surge of clarity around who you're becoming and who you're no longer willing to be for others. Leading from authenticity becomes non-negotiable with this energy. On January 10th, Mars will make an opposition to Jupiter in Cancer, currently in your fifth house. So, tension may arise between personal joy, creativity, romance, or emotional expression, and your responsibilities to groups or your long term goals. So, you're learning that pleasure and purpose don't have to compete, but they do need balance. Overgiving to either side creates imbalance. On January 13th, Mars will make a square to Chiron in Aries, currently in your second house. So wounds around worth, value, and self-trust may surface, especially if you've been undervaluing your contributions or giving too much for too little. This is a moment of recalibration. Your dreams require resources, and you are one of those resources. On January 20th, Mars will make a trine to Uranus currently in Taurus in your third house. So breakthroughs in communication, messaging, and mindset arrives with this energy. So you may feel inspired to share your ideas, speak your truth, or reframe how you talk about your goals. The way you communicate now can open unexpected doors. And finally, on January 21st, Mars will begin to make a sextile to both Saturn and Neptune in Pisces. So, this is a defining integration moment. Vision meets structure, dream meets discipline. You are supported in committing to long term goals, leadership roles, or community based projects that reflect your soul, not just your empathy. So, boundaries strengthen your magic. Now, some of the best ways for you to work with this Mars and Capricorn transit is first to get clear about your long term vision. Mars in your 11th house asks you to stop drifting toward the future and start choosing it deliberately. Clarify what you're building, why it matters, and what kind of life you want your efforts to support. Next is to be selective with community and collaboration. Not every group deserves your energy. Choose spaces that respect your boundaries, value your contributions, and support your growth rather than drain it. Next is to strengthen your sense of self within the collective. You're learning how to show up without dissolving. Let your individuality guide where and how you contribute. Next is to honor your worth in shared spaces. This is a moment to advocate for yourself, especially when it comes to recognition, compensation, or leadership. Giving endlessly is not the same as serving meaningfully. And finally, use your voice to anchor your future. Speak about your goals, write them down, share them intentionally. Communication now helps crystallize what's next. A great affirmation for you during this Mars and Capricorn transit is, I choose aligned community. I honor my worth, and I commit to a future that reflects my truth. Be sure to let me know how the energy of Mars in Capricorn is showing up for you in the comments below. And of course, be sure to give this video a thumbs up if it stirs something in you, share the magic with your friends, and subscribe to stay tapped in. And if you've been carrying emotions you can't name, as above, so within is where you finally give them language. This prompt journal guides you through your chart so you can understand what's shifting and what you're meant to release. So be sure to tap the link below and start the healing. I appreciate you. And thanks so much for watching.